Hey everyone, my name is Jason. I'm a solo game developer living in Sweden, and I'm working on my dream little game. I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll see. It's a Godot game. I'm using the Godot engine, and today I'm going to be talking about a controller icons plugin for Godot. Now, I made a video about this a couple videos back, detailing about how cool this plugin was. It's a plugin made by someone named rsubtil. You can find it on the Godot Asset Library, and you can also find it on Reddit. On GitHub. It's called Controller Icons. If you search for that in the Asset Library, you'll find it. I'll leave links to it in the description down below if you want to check it out. And its purpose is basically to display the controller icons for all the major devices out there, but also to intelligently switch between them depending on what input the game is being received. So you can be using keyboard, it'll show keyboard icons in your game. If you pick up a controller, it switches to controller icons, and it updates depending on, like, is this a Switch controller, Xbox controller, PlayStation controller, whatever, right? It also offers some other options so that you can force certain device types, only display keyboard and mouse, only display controllers, or only display controller icons from a specific controller, things like that. All sorts of different interesting features. It's super handy. It works perfectly. It's so easy to set up. I really, really love it. But there's one problem. It's a GDScript plugin. That's fine. I have a C# Godot project. That's fine. Those two work together. Typically, that's great. However, for some reason with this plugin, we don't really know why. We suspect an engine issue. No one really knows why. There is an intermittent plugin crash where every now and then, like one every 50 times you start the game or something like that, the plugin crashes and you can't use it. And then you have to restart the game. And so it's largely fine. I can keep working on my game, keep developing my game, but the idea of that potentially happening in the future, when I don't know when this problem might get fixed, or if it gets fixed, by the engine team or by whoever, this constantly sort of weighed on my mind a little bit, and I really wanted this problem to be gone. And so there are two solutions for this. One, hope that someone fixes the issue with the engine or whatever, gets resolved somehow, but I don't know who's going to do that, if it's going to happen. I don't think I can do it. And then option number two is that someone could port the plugin from GDScript to C#, and that would eliminate the issue. But who would do that? I did that. We did it, folks. We did it. Recently on stream, I slowly went over porting this plugin from GDScript to C#. It was one hell of a ride. It was pretty fun, though, to be honest. We did it over 2 streams, which is not too bad, although one of the streams was 15 hours long. But it is done. It is working, and I had to do a few more fixes along the way since those streams here and there, just to stabilize things, but now it is all in a pretty good place. So that is available now, folks. It's free. You can go get that, of course. It is up on GitHub. I'll leave a link in the description below. I've also submitted it to the Godot Asset Library, so hopefully you can get it within the engine yourself if you just click the asset lib at the top and search for controller icons C#. So now there might be a couple things that you might be wondering. The first is, if you're currently using the GDScript version of this plugin in your C# project, can you migrate the GDScript version to the C# version? Will it keep all of your old settings in your game, or do you have to redo everything? And the answer is yes, you can migrate it, and yes, it should keep your settings so that you don't have to redo everything. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Another thing that you might be wondering is you're using the GDScript version already, but you're using some of the deprecated features. Does the C# version also support the deprecated features? And the answer is yes, it should. I have done some basic testing on that. It should work, at least to the degree that the GDScript version currently does. But I do recommend switching to the non-deprecated features. And then the last thing you might be wondering is, how do you use it? Well, let's dive in real quick. So first things first, if this is a project of yours where you didn't have the GDScript version of this plugin installed, and this is a new plugin that you're adding, this is what you do. You just install it as you do any other plugin. And the way you do that, if you didn't know, is you can either go through the Godot Asset Library by clicking the Asset Library thing at the top of your engine and searching for the plugin, or you download the code from GitHub, and then you just copy paste the controller icons _icons folder into your add-ons folder. Or if you don't have an add-ons folder, then you just create an add-ons folder in your root folder of your project, and then you put the controller _icons folder in there. Then you go to the project settings and you enable the plugin, and that's it, you're done. And then the way that you use it is you create a controller icon texture resource in your project. You set its path to one of your input mappings, and the way you do that is there's like a little button you can click next to the path variable if you open up the resource. And in there, that will pop up a dialog. You can choose any of your mappings that you've got in your project, or you can choose any of the built-in mappings if you click the built-in toggle. Otherwise, you can choose a specific controller button by using the joypad tab, or you can choose just a specific button from somewhere if you want to just do it that way. So you just set that path via that dialog in some way, and once that's done, it will fetch the relevant icons, and you're pretty much done at that point. All you need to do is just create some node in your scene that requires a texture, because this is just a texture. So like a sprite 2D or sprite 3D or a button, or a texture button or a texture rect if you're doing UI, or you can use it as an image in text, in a rich text field, for example. You just put it in there and that's it. Everything works. It automatically updates. Everything works. This plugin is fantastic. Great job to rsubtil for creating this. Really, really impressive. There's also some extra settings in the controller icon texture that you'll see as well, where you can force the device type, whether it's a keyboard or mouse or a controller. You can show the icon only for keyboard and mouse if a keyboard or mouse is being used or a controller is being used. You can force a specific kind of controller's icons. You can also do this thing where you detect the icon from the device slot. So say, for example, you have a PlayStation controller and an Xbox controller plugged in, and you're making a couch co-op two-player game or something like that. So one player's got a PlayStation controller, one player's got an Xbox controller. You can check the device slots to see and display the appropriate icons for the appropriate player. It's really clever. Honestly, they've really outdone themselves with this plugin, and it's just so easy to set up. So then the next thing you're wondering is, you've already got this plugin, you've been using it, but you would like to try the C# version. How do you migrate it from GDScript to C#? Now, there are a few steps with this. I've outlined it all on my GitHub already. If you want to just look at the, just a reference to look through, but we'll walk through it together right now anyway. So the first thing that you want to do is back up your project or check everything in. Make sure it's in a state where you can revert things if anything goes wrong. Now make sure your editor is closed as well. The next thing is to delete the GDScript plugin from your project. Just navigate to that folder and delete it, and then paste in the C# plugin, the controller_icons folder, into the add-ons folder. So now if you open your project, Godot will notice a few things wrong. First of all, you probably needed to build the project first because the plugin hasn't been compiled yet, but also you've probably got some broken dependencies now because your old controller icon textures were referencing a GDScript file, but there aren't any anymore. They're the C# files now. But the pop-up will give you a button to click fix dependencies, and you can do that if you wish. And you can use that tool to find the relevant new files, the C# files, or you can also use a text editor or your IDE to do a global find and replace to just take care of everything all in one go. In order to do both of these things, it's probably important to know the file mappings, what the old file names were, and what the new ones will need to be. And they are here. You can just pause the video and reference that. This is useful regardless of which way you want to fix your dependencies. Also, just pay attention to the deprecated features. Some of those file names are quite different, so just note that. And if you're doing find and replace, be extra careful since some of those names are quite generic too. So just pay attention, be safe. Next thing you need to do is make sure you've built your game at this point, and then you can just open the editor up and you're good to go. If you did the previous steps, and if you aren't using an IDE to build your game and you always build while in Engine, you can still do that. You click the little hammer or use Alt-B to build it while in Engine, but at that point you may need to toggle the plugin off, back on, save your project, close, and reopen. Just do that kind of song and dance just to make sure everything gets set up properly, and at that point you should be good. There is the potential at this point that there might be some warnings that get thrown, saying that some maybe UIDs don't exist, or wrong UID is referenced so a path is used instead, and this is probably just because certain files were trying to reference UIDs for the old GDScript files, but what you can do at this point is just find the appropriate UID for your new C# files and swap them out, and the warnings should go away. And at that point, you should be completely done and ready to go. Nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And it was a really fun process to actually port this plugin. I actually found it really, really enjoyable. I learned a lot about the engine. I learned a lot about GDScript while doing that. So that was really cool. Don't forget to check out rsubtil's original GitHub. Give them a star or whatever. Make sure, just remember that they're the one who made this magic happen. This C# project is just a port. That's what I worked on, okay? So make sure to leave a thanks. rsubtil helps a lot in the comments below. Also, comment below if you're using this plugin. If you like it, what your experience is like. Let me know if you're going to try out the C# version and how that goes. If you've run into any issues, feel free to leave that below in the comments or comment over on GitHub or something like that. Let me know in Discord, whatever. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Do consider subscribing for more devlog content moving forward. I have a Discord if you want to hang out in between videos and streams. I do stream, by the way, every Saturday, 1 p.m. At twitch.tv/gemballs. And if you join the Discord, you can also get notified for bonus dev streams, which sometimes happen throughout the week. Okay? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching the video, everyone, and I hope you have a great time. Take care. Bye.